Welcome to Passive Aggressive Income. This program may contain strong language. The content may not be suitable for audiences under the age of 17. We understand many of our listeners may not agree with all of our personal viewpoints. We in no way, shape, or form mean to be offensive to anyone. Our show notes will provide all of our source material included for each episode. Now let's get passive aggressive.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Passive Aggressive Income. We are your hosts, Lexi and Mims. And this week we are taking a total left turn from some of the topics we've been talking about recently and talking about something more social media specific. So Mims is going to take the lead on this one.
Yes. So let's talk about how to create the most effective and creative reels for your personal and or business platforms. So why are reels important? Let's answer that question right away because I know some of you are like, yeah, I don't care about reels. I just post. I just, do my daily or other day or every other day post and then that's
Mhm.
it. Reels are important because if they are done right, they can get you great exposure and viewership. I have made reels on my personal creator accounts that have reached about 160,000, 60,000, and 15,000. Those are my bigger ones.
Mhm.
And, I'm just little old me and I don't know 160,000 people. So people are definitely finding me through different methods that I use to push myself out there.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's amazing. I have also like having done social media management for a variety of different clients and also just doing, my own personal page.
mhm.
And the amount of views that I get and like engagements from a reel versus just a photo or a post is like
Yes.
night and day. It's
Yes.
crazy.
Yeah, and I think that we're in the we're in the time right now that people are loving to doom scroll, and I think that's why it's
Mhm.
super popular right now.
Hmm.
So, I know I'm guilty of it. Like I'll just watch funny reels
Oh
for like
yeah.
an hour because I am just so tired, but I'm not like quite wanting to go to sleep yet. And I feel like that's how people really get exposure because of the content. It's like basically watching like mini shows, back to
Exactly.
back to back.
Yeah, and it's so genius too because it's like people have really short attention spans and a reel
Yes.
is just like a short piece of content and then you can move on and like watch the next one and that's why like Instagram is promoting it so much because TikTok is blowing up and then
Yeah.
YouTube shorts are happening and yeah,
Yeah.
so it's definitely something to consider with your social media strategy.
Yeah. So if viewership and followers is something that you want for your personal and or business accounts, don't sleep on making reels. So what are reels? For those who of you who don't really know what a reel is, I'll give a brief and non-confusing description of it. They are essentially a video compilation or just one long continuous video with music, a voiceover, a camera, audio with some sort of purpose, like recording a cool skateboarding trick or a compilation of a vacation you just took or advertisement for a business and, just recording cool behind the scene videos. So when you go on Facebook or Instagram and uploading your reel, you are able to edit right then and there in the app. You don't need additional programs or editing apps, but using things like that may provide you with more creative editing tools that the individual apps don't offer. The
Mhm.
tools that are offered in the apps are increasing or decreasing speed, cutting the video up. So let's say you tripped in the beginning, but then the rest of the video is fine. You can cut that out, or like cut bits and pieces of it and then rearrange it. Adding voiceovers and or music, taking out the original audio or leaving it there. You can also add filters and backgrounds and words on the reel. So if you want people to know what your reel is all about just by looking at like the little thumbnail of it when they're, doom scrolling on the explore page, it really does help because I've come across where it's like, my dog did this week, or like the best thrift haul I've ever had, just like
Mhm.
really attention grabbing captions right on the face of the reel.
Yeah.
Also captions on the audio, you're able to do that. So let's say you are doing like a motivational like Monday and you're giving tips out. You could do captions so that people that maybe are hearing impaired or something
Mhm.
like that can just read instead.
In addition to that, I often will find myself like looking at reels when I'm like, I don't know, maybe before one of my classes start and I can't use the volume, but I still
Mm,
want to get the gist of what's happening in the video. So
yes.
I having like the captions on the screen as the video is playing is really helpful.
I'm glad that's not just me, because sometimes when I'm like in a public place and I want to like just watch some reels, I'll do that too.
Yeah.
And lastly, another thing that the apps offer is transition effects. So let's say you did cut up the video that you had and you have multiple little videos in the reel. You were able to tap on this little like circle in between all of them, and then it gives you different transitional effects. So it goes like to the next video and it goes into like a swirl or like a drop down, and it just makes it a little bit more fun. So let's talk about real ideas. Uh, and because we don't gatekeep here, here are some fun ideas that you can use on your own time. So do like a morning routine, like doing your makeup, picking out your outfit, making your breakfast. A lot of people like that. And a lot of people have the energy to start it even from when you get out of bed and into the bathroom and into your closet and then into you driving your car. People love that. So,
Mhm.
if you have a fascinating life, or maybe you have an average life or whatever, and you want to share it, go for it.
Yeah, I think something about social media is just seeing the humanity in other people. And so even something as simple as like, this is how I do my makeup routine can be
Hmm.
really interesting to see like, oh, like that's another person living their life. And I'm like gonna pick up some tips along the way off of like what they're doing to implement in my own life. And it's just kind of cool for people who like, I don't know, I think it would be I wouldn't say I'm like a nosy person, but it's kind of fun to be nosy and be like, oh, how are you living your life? Like,
Yeah.
how is your house decorated? So like that kind of stuff
Yes.
is just kind of cool.
Yeah, and I also feel like it helps with making you feel like, oh, I'm not the only one that does that.
Yeah. Hmm.
Sharing a daily tip. If you, for example, if you're a mechanic, you can share how to change your oil yourself or change a tire on the side of the road. So if you have like some sort of skill or something like that, daily tips are really helpful. Just keep it nice and short, something that you're able to, uh, you know, spread to the masses and make fun too.
Yeah.
Featuring one of your favorite products you can personally vouch for. And I say personally vouch for because I don't trust people that are like paid advertisement, or that it's like a partnership with that
Hmm.
brand. If I know that you're using it every single day because I see that you have like stocked it up in your bathroom or whatever the case may be, then I'm going to trust it a little bit more. So, for example, I would do the stone bath mat that I got from Amazon that, yes, is made out of stone and not out of fabric, because it quickly absorbs the water that drips from me right out of the shower. And it's like the most effective bath mat I've ever had. And I could definitely vouch for it because I use it every day.
Hmm.
Workout routines. I have found that posting workout reels are extremely popular. If you've mastered like an ab workout routine or how to tone your back, people will love to steal your techniques. Sharing a skill or technique you have. For example, Lexi with her hooping, I know you have different techniques that you do.
Hmm.
And with me and creating resin earrings, I have different skills when it comes to that. So just showing like a little snippet of the behind the scenes or like a
Right.
how-to is
Yeah, a
helpful.
little tutorial.
Yeah. Self-care or wellness tips. Perhaps If you've gotten into meditation, share some tips on how to work on that practice because I know a lot of people struggle on how to do that or anything else, self-care or wellness related. Answering common questions. I think this is one of my favorite ones. So this is great for people who own a business. If you are, for example, a hairdresser, answering your followers' top questions like what shampoo and conditioner would work for dry, oily, or normal scalps will bring a lot of interest and engagement to that reel.
Yeah, I love that. One of the things with doing social media management is like you're not only posting content that promotes whatever product you're selling, but you want to make sure that your content fills some sort of need. So if you do get a lot of like frequently asked questions like this, then creating a reel like that instead of just like replying to a comment
Mm,
is going to help a lot more people and also bring your page a lot more engagement and followers too.
yeah, absolutely. So here are some additional tips on creating reels. Recreating, but not completely copying trending reel content. Sometimes there is a dance maybe that people are doing in videos to a specific song that goes viral that can be imitated. I know that a lot of people were doing that with one of Doja Cat's songs. I think it was Paint the Town Red. And, the amount of people that were just recreating that same dance to that same song in their own way was definitely something that was trending at that time.
Hmm.
Using trending audio also helps. So make sure you check the original audio and popular audio currently being used. So you can pick your own audio, and there's going to be different genres, or there is a place where you can do original audio. And that's just kind of like what people have compiled for their own reels that are now out there for everybody to use. A
Hmm.
lot of those are used because A, they're funny or they're relevant to like a specific situation or something like that. So don't sleep on those.
Hmm.
For captions, use short sentences and use 4 to 8 hashtags that relate to the content in your reel. Also, creating content that can be replicated or used interchangeably goes a long way because you can do one day of recording and then spread the footage out throughout the month if broken up correctly. Also, as we mentioned before, if you're trying to grow a following, sticking to sharing the same content instead of creating reels on 30 different topics will be more beneficial. Like an account dedicating to reselling should not be creating reels on dog grooming because it just has nothing to do with it.
Right.
But I do have to say that on my personal one, I have a ton of different types of reels. I have dog reels, I have gym reels, I have thrifting reels, I just have like plain old funny reels, relationship reels. Like I'm all over the place because I'm not really there for a following. I'm not there for, getting a lot of attention. I just do it
Mhm.
for fun.
Yeah. And on your like separate business pages, you do focus on that specific brand and business and don't like vary too much from that type of content.
Yes, very true.
Mhm.
And speaking about fun, my last point is have fun making it. Nothing is more cringe than someone pushing content out that is awkward or poorly recorded or just plain boring. If you are recording something and wanting to put it out there, make sure that you are having fun and that it's fun for other people to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this is really helpful because I have kind of, I don't know, I wouldn't say that I've like tried not to make reels, but I definitely am more comfortable with photos because I would consider myself like primarily a photographer.
Yeah.
And I know like I don't know if you follow any photography counts, but it's really interesting how photographers, because like Instagram, for example, used to be a photography platform or like
Mm,
where it was really just photos. And
yeah.
since then, it's kind of become more of a video platform. And so, in the space of being a photographer, it's really interesting how people have been able to create reels that show their photos, but that's still in the
Yeah.
real format. It's trending where it's like, here's some behind the scenes, and this is like what the finished photo looks like. Or I don't know if you've seen those with like the trending audio for a while that was like, I'm a photographer and these are my photos, and it like snaps through a bunch of their photos really fast.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
so it's definitely about like innovating and
Hmm.
figuring out how to maintain being successful on social media, even though you might have done something a different way for, many months or even years. And reels are definitely what is being promoted the most right now. So I would, yeah, definitely take all of these tips that Mims gave and really take that to heart and implement them in your own social media strategy, because I think you're going to see a big difference versus just posting like photos or like, a bunch of photos in one post compared to doing a reel, which on my personal account, I will still post lots of photos because like Mims, I'm not really in it for the followers. I'm just posting pieces of my life. But yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's definitely important if you're trying to grow your social media.
And I totally get why people get uncomfortable making them. I know that, you know, either you're talking in it, and I know people are like, oh, my voice is ugly or weird or whatever, or, you're doing a dance and you're putting yourself out there,
Yeah,
or you're giving tips and then you're like, well, who am I to give tips? So
right.
I, if you just have fun doing it and you think, if somebody likes it, great. And if that's the only, thing on your mind, then, fuck the rest, really.
Exactly. Yeah, it really is. And like social media in general, it can just be uncomfortable at times when you are putting yourself out there, like you said, Mims. But if you're having fun doing it, then like who cares what anyone else thinks? And honestly, when I stumble across reels that I can relate to, like I'm happy people put those out there. Even if
Hmm.
I'm not the one who's like, oh, I don't know if I could do that because like I'm self-conscious or whatever. Like I'm glad other people are doing it. So you never
Yeah.
know what kind of impact you might have on some random account that stumbles across your video.
And that brings me to one thing that I forgot is that if you maybe are trying to put yourself out there, but maybe are not wanting to get any backlash or negative comments because maybe you're sharing like a personal story and you're just like, I
Hmm.
just want to get this out there. Maybe somebody else is going to relate to this or something like that. You can always turn off the comments
Hmm.
in your reel and like in your posts as well, but that would probably help you more when it comes to not caring about what other people are going to think or say because you're not even giving them the chance to like comment on it. So that's
Yeah,
definitely an option for you too.
that's a really good point. I like that when you do it that way, it's about you and yourself and you putting your content out there, and it's not about anybody else and like what they
Mm.
have to say. You're doing it because it's for you.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I hope that you guys learn some things from these real tips, and I hope that you guys try it out because I've tried it out myself. That's why I'm talking about it,
Yeah.
and it's really got me a lot of views. So, and sometimes I didn't even try. So I'm sure that if
Mhm.
you did it and you actually tried, you're gonna get way more than I have.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Mims. This was really informative as always and a really fun topic. And I love watching your reels. So
Thank
you're
you.
onto something.
All right, make sure to follow us on Facebook, on Instagram. Sorry, I forgot. And subscribe to our YouTube channel. I keep saying YouTube. And give us a rating on Spotify because we need them.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for your support always. And we will see you next week for another one.
Bye.
Bye. Passive Aggressive Income was written, recorded, edited, and produced by co-hosts and creators Mims and Lexi. We truly want to thank our listeners, collaborators, friends, and family that continuously support us for all the love we receive. If you enjoy our show, please give us a glowing rating and review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Also, follow us on Facebook and Instagram to see what we are up to. For any inquiries, please email passiveaggressiveincome2023@gmail.com. Episodes of Passive Aggressive Income are available wherever you listen to podcasts, so make sure to subscribe and like us on your favorite streaming platform.